So here in this example, we will try to understand how Apex send data to a service. Now, in this example, we will go line by line and try to decode the meaning of these codes. So, before going through the codes, let's on high level. Let's try to understand on high level that what kind of objects are need to be created and how it is going to communicate with a web service. So, whenever we are trying to communicate through a web service, mainly three objects need to be created: HTTP object, HTTP request object, and HTTP response object. Now, request object where we send the action or method name, that what action need to be taken by the web service. Response, once the web service processes your request, then it gives back some information, it sends back some information, and that is called response. So that need to be captured in response object. Now the response comes through. Now HTTP object helps in retrieving that information through request object. So these are the things. Now once you get the response, you can through code check whether it was successful or it was a failure. uh, if it was a failure, what kind of code was given or sent by the web service, and what message was sent. So all these things can be decoded. So now let's go line by line. So in the first line here, we are creating an HTTP object. Okay, HTTP new HTTP. So this is creating a new object. Now in the second line here, we have request, which is creating a new HTTP request. Now this request object, through this request, we will hit the web service, and that is done by set endpoint. So endpoint is basically contains the URL, complete URL, where web service can be hit. So, and in the third line, now since we know the web service URL, we need to tell that web service what we want to do. Do we want to get some information? Do we want to give you some information so you can update it at your website? So what basically needs to be done? So here we are setting post method. So post method means we means Apex is, through this Apex code, we are sending some information to the web service, and we are requesting that please add this information at your website. So that's what we are trying to do here. Now in the third, set header. So whenever we are sending this information to the web service, we want the web service to know that the information whatever we are sending is in which format. Is it an XML format? It is a JSON format. What is the format? So, so the header basically contains the info, that information. So here we are sending in JSON format, UTF-8. Now after that, so we are just first informing that what is the format of the data, and then we are sending the data to set body. So then we are asking that, okay, this is JSON format, key value pair kind of thing. Name Mighty Moves. This need to be added to the web service body. Okay, and after that, once it is added, then the web service which we are trying to get, that okay, since it has been added, so tell me mm, whether you will be where it was successfully added or not. Tell me that. So then we are trying to fetch that information in response. Now in response dot, suppose if it is successful, it's well and good. If it's not successful, then we need to know that okay, it was not successful, then what happened. So to figure it out, trying to use get a status code. So a status code, whenever a service is successful or it fails or there is some error, it has certain code for it. So we need to fetch out those codes to understand what really happened with the web service when we send the data. So if it is failed, if it is passed, then it is 201. Code is 201. Now with that code, every code is attached with some message which gives a high level understanding that what happened. So this get a status displays that message. And once that is done, then we are using response dot get body